will be coming to is your assignment operators. So basically what assignment operator does is that you are assigning certain values to a variable. So let's say you select a variable a and you give it a particular value as let's say 10. So this is what is known as an assignment. So equal to sign, what this equal to sign does is that equal to sign assigns a value to a particular variable, right? So that is our very first assignment operator, that is equal to, right? The next assignment operator that we'll be focusing here is plus equal to. So what this plus equal to means is that sometimes what happens is, let's say you have defined a value a equals to let's say 10, right? And now you want to add some value to this a, but without defining any another variable. So what you can do is that you can just write a plus equals to, let's say I write 4. So what this plus equals to basically means here is that plus equals to means a is equal to a plus 4. That means whatever value of a is there, you have to add 4 with it. So this plus equal to sign is basically meaning this one. So this is what is the short form of plus equal to, right? So plus equal to basically means whatever your a value is, now you have to just add 4 into that. So a plus equals to 4 means a is equal to a plus 4. Whatever the previous value of a was, now you just have to add a 4 into it, and then you can just print your function a, and then you can just run it and it will get the result as 14. So this is what your output will be, that a now becomes 14, right? In the similar way, minus also works. Like if you write a minus equals to 4 and then you print it, it will means that a equals to a minus 4 here. This means a equals to a minus 4. So it will subtract 4 from 10 and it will give you the answer as 6. So in this way, plus equals to or minus equals to work, right? So this is basically you are assigning something to a variable. So first you have taken a variable, you have assigned a particular value to it, and then you are again assigning another value to the same variable, but without using another variable, right? So this is how you use a plus equal to or minus equal to operator. Another type of assignment operator in the same way you can do with n number of things, like plus equal to, minus equal to. In the same way you can do, let's say, multiply equal to 4, and then you can just print your variable. So it will give you the answer as 40. You can in the same way divide it, divide equal to 4, and then it will give you an answer of 2.5, right? You can do a floor operation as well. So a floor equals to 4 will give you an answer of 2. Then you can do a modulus run here as well. You can write a modulus 4 and it will give you the answer of 2 again, because the remainder is 2. You can do an exponential thing here as well. You can write a exponent equals to 4 and will give you an exponent version of 10. So it will be 10,000. So this is how your this thing works out, the assignment operator works out, right? So does anyone have any issue here? It's like here you are using the same variable, right? But instead of using another variable, what if you wanted, you have to update the same variable again and again. So this is a basic example because this is containing the same thing. If you do a star star equal to 4, that is the same as a star star 4, right? But what if you have a very big number whereby you have multiple variables defined for you, and then you have to add something into it? For that, I'll just give you an example, brief example of how this thing actually works. So let's say in bioinformatics, when you will be running certain simulations, what happens is you have to run a simulation for a certain amount of time, right? So at that time, what you have to do is you have to define a time step over which your simulation will be running, right? So that time step is basically written as dt. So you don't need to worry about this. We will be discussing it in when we will be studying about bioinformatics. I'm just giving a brief example where this plus equal to or minus equal to sign actually has an application. So let's say I define a time step as 0.01, right? And I have defined my time as well. Let's say my simulation time that I want to run is actually starting from 0 seconds and it is going till, let's say, 100 milliseconds, right? And my time step is this. Now my updated time will be t equals to plus equals to dt. So here what happens is Now you have a time range over, right? You have a time, that is you have to start your simulation from 0 millisecond and you have to go till 100 milliseconds. But now how would you add it? Because up until now we were just having a one value for a particular variable when we were considering. So let's say I will comment this out. Let's say up until now what was happening, we were just defining a is equals to 4, and what we were doing is that a plus equals to 5, let's say, and we were just printing whatever the value of a was, right? So it was giving us the answer as 9. But what will happen here? Here you don't actually have a single value, because here a was having just a single value, but here your time is not having a single value, it's having actually a range. So that's where this plus equals to or minus equals to or modulus equals to or exponent equals to actually has the application. Because then what happens is that you have to add this time step to each and every simulation, each and every millisecond of your simulation that is happening. That's where the actual application of this plus equal to operator happens, or minus equal to or assign operators basically happen. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So we'll be discussing about this when we will study about bioinformatics. We'll be discussing there how these things work, functions, right? So the next thing that we'll be studying about is known as the logical operator. So basically, logical operator has only three main functions, and those operators are known as and, or, and not, right? So what and basically does is that you have, if you are comparing two things together, right? You have let's say two variables together. Let's say I'm giving a value a equals to, let's say, 5, right? And I want to compare it with something. So what I will do is that I'll write a is greater than 3 and a is less than 10. I wrote this, right? Let me just comment this out. So I wrote this one. So here what I am asking Python to do is that I'm asking Python to first store the value of 5 in the variable a, and now compare this a with 3 and 10 for whatever operator that I have given here, right? So the operator I have given here are greater than and less than. So I want my Python to first store the value of 5 into this variable a, and then it will compare my value of a with 3. So the first condition what I'm asking my Python is to see whether the value of a is greater than 3 or not. So Python will first do this one. So it will say, yeah, the value of a is greater than 3, and then it will do this one because it is an and. So it has to do both of these things together, and then if both of the statements are true, then only the output will be true, right? So that is what and is for. In case of or, either one of the statement, if either one of the statement is true, the output will be true, right? So here first the Python will run this particular comparison. It will say, okay, 5 is greater than 3, so this is a true thing, and it will go to this particular section, and then it will say 5 is less than 10, and this is also true. And now if I run it, so the final output will be the both of the statements are true, therefore the output will be true, right? So this is how and works. That means when you write an and operator, you are considering, no matter how many n number of statements you give, you have to consider each and every one of them, right? That's what you are asking Python to do for you. And let's say if you write or here, right? So what now you are asking Python is that you're asking Python to check if between these two statements, either one of them are true or not. So the Python will first run this particular comparison. It will say, okay, a is greater than 3, that is 5 is greater than 3, and this is true. Let's say here we say a is greater than 10, right? So now this is false. We know that a is not greater than 10, right? But what will be the output that Python will give us will be true, because we have used an or function. So it doesn't matter if this statement is false, even if one statement is true, your output will be true, right? And then we will be using the not operator. Now always remember, you won't be using not here. You use not to always negate an already existing statement. Okay, so let's say my already existing statement was print a more than 3 and print a less than 10, and we know for this thing Python gives us a value of true. That means both of the statements are true, but I want to negate this statement. So how would I do that? Just have to add a not before your comparison statements here, and then you will just print your function, and it will negate the whole statement. So here it has given us a result of false. So what you are asking is that this statement was true, That means A was greater than 3, this was true, and A is less than 10, this is also true. But then you're negating the whole statement. So the negation of true is false. So that's why it has given you a result of false, right? Is it okay with everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So basically don't get confused why it has given you false, right? So what it does is that basically it solves this particular statement first, and whatever output Python generates from here, that output will be negated by the not thing, and that will be given you as the output here. So this statement was true, and then the statement was negated, and then you get a false statement here. Okay. So the next operator that we'll be focusing is known as a membership operator. So what a membership operator basically means is that, for example, if you go to a gym or if you go to a club, you have to give a certain membership fees as well, right? So in the same way, what membership operator does is that it will consist of only two operators, and these membership operators are basically used for strings, lists, or tuples, right? So how would you compare this membership operator? So basically, in membership operators, what you have is in and not in. So these are the basic two membership operators that you are finding. So let's say if a particular person has joined a gym, and if you want to know whether he is in the gym or he is not in the gym, or whether he is in that particular membership or whether he is not in that particular membership, so that's why you are using these two functions, in and not in. And these two are mainly used, or the membership operators are basically mainly used for your strings, list, and tuples. So let me just comment this out, and let's say I'm creating a list. Okay, I'm storing the value of that list in my variable a. So how should I start my list? Whether it should be a curly bracket, parentheses, or a square bracket? Yeah, right. So it will be a square bracket because it's a list, right? So let's create a list. Let's say we have fruits in this list, right? Let's say apple and let's say orange. Let's take another one. Let's say banana, right? So we have created a list which consists of three fruits: apple, orange, and banana. Now we want to find whether, now let's say you don't know if any of these three fruits are in this list or not. So let's say this A is a gym and these three are people, right? And if you want to know whether these people are are a member of this particular gym or not, so how would you find it? You'll just write a print function and you will search for that particular name, right? Now because you're searching for that name, so that name is a string, right? So to write a string you have to use a double quotes. So let's say I'm writing apple and I will use the function to search apple in A. So A is my list. So I'm asking Python to search for apple in A, in the list A. And when I run it, it will give me output true. That means apple is actually a part of this list. That means apple is actually a member of this gym, right? So that way, that's how in functions, right? Let's say if I write another fruit which is not actually in the list. Let's say I write kiwi. Sorry, kiwi, and I just print it. It will give me an output as false because kiwi is not a part of this particular list. So this is how in and not in functions. And if you write not in here, so basically not means you are negating a statement, right? So kiwi not in A, and this will be true because obviously kiwi is not a part of this particular list. So when you write kiwi not in A, it will give you an answer of true. And if you are writing, let's say orange not in A, it will give you an answer of false because orange is actually a part of that list, right? So this is how in and not in membership operands function. Okay, is it clear with everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so the last operand that we will be focusing is now known as an identity operators. So identity operators are basically used to compare the memory location of two objects. Now what does memory location means is that whenever you are defining a variable, let's say I've defined a variable A and I've given it a value of 5. So what this particular line of code does is that it will store a creative memory in a particular computational space, and will store the variable A consisting the value of 5. Now identity operators are basically used to compare the memory spaces or memory location of these of the two objects that you are comparing, or the two operands that you are comparing. So the two identity operators that we will be using is and is not. So what is does is that it will evaluate if the variable on either side of the operator points to the same object or not. So for example, let's say we create a list. Okay, so we are creating a list. Let's say it consists of countries. Let's say India, then America, uh, Japan, something like this. Let's create another list. Okay, and now we have to compare also. So we'll creating another list, and let's say we write some random, let's say continent name, Europe, then Asia, and Australia. Okay. Now we know that both of these lists are different. It's not identical. So list A contains a country name and list B contains the continent name. Let's say I have defined another variable as X, and I am assigning the value of X as A. That means whatever the value of A is, whatever the list that A contains is actually same as that of X. So if I want to give the same value to X as that of A, I won't write the same list here again. I'll just write X equals to A. This means I'm assigning the value of X as that of A, right? Now I will be using my identity operator here, and I'll write print, and I'll be seeing whether X is actually equal to A or not. So I'll be writing A is X, right? So what I mean is that I'm asking Python to actually see whether A is X or not, whether A and X both are same or not. So what it will does is that it will give me a value of true. Why? Because here I have already defined that X is equals to A. Now let's say if I do A is B, we know that A and B both are different lists. They are not the same. So obviously Python won't say that A and B are same. So it will give me a result as false. And again, to negate this, what you are doing, what you have to do is that you will just write is not. So A is not B, and this is true because A and B are not equal. So A is not B actually will give you a right result, that is true. And if I write A is not X, then I know that this statement is not true because X and A both are the same thing. So if I write A is not X and I print it, it will give me a result as false, right? So this is how basically your opens and arithmetic operators, or your identity operators, or membership operators, or logical operators will work, right? So anyone has any doubt about